Welcome everyone, Christine here with an updated guide for Tzarina Katarin of Kislev in Total War Warhammer 3, in order to achieve a great deal of campaign power fairly early on. Now, this is going to involve a good amount of cheese, just keep that in mind, though there's various stages of cheese involved, keep in mind that. There's basically cheese where you get unlimited money. I'm not really going to go for that. Instead, my goal over here is to gain control of Prague. That is my goal over here. Now, when Shadows of Change came out, they gave Plesk as a settlement to the Tzarina Enclave. Now, they've changed that and given it to Prague, so things are a bit different. But one of the reasons this is so important is because you could trade Zavastra for Plesk, get it to Prague, and gain a lot of power through that. That is no longer available at the moment, so some things are going to need to be changed in that respect. Now, when you start a campaign, any campaign really, you're going to want to look at what diplomatic agreements are available. In this case, I'm just going to declare war on the Magafkin. They're always going to be wiped out. They're not going to be a threat. They're not going to attack me, and get the trade agreement with Malachi. Second thing I'm going to do is declare war on Kazra, get the trade agreement with Karl, so I'm already getting the trade flowing. Third thing, we want to invoke Urson. If you're playing Kislev campaign early on, even as Boris Ursus, you do want to invoke Urson, unless of course you're playing a Stankia who doesn't have that capability. Beyond that, we're also going to want to get as much growth as possible over here in Kislev City itself. You might think, oh, you're going to miss out on the income. We'll get that later, but getting plus 60 growth over here is actually going to be a fairly significant benefit. And then we sell Zavastra to the Tzarina Enclave for all these things. So we get non-aggression pact, military access, all that. Don't get the military alliance or defensive alliance just yet. Don't worry, we'll set it up. But first, I'm going to need to get plus 150 diplomatic relations in order to ensure confederation with them. So with all of that being done, let's fight the battle. This is being played on legendary difficulty with Iron Man turned off, though I'm also using auto-resolve mods, just so I'm not spending hours potentially fighting a bunch of battles I know I'm going to win. Though, if you're playing an actual campaign, mods or not, I do firmly recommend you do fight these initial battles, especially field battles, manually. The principal reason behind that, well, one, you'll take far fewer casualties. Like, I can win this battle, and I have won this battle many times with like 30 casualties in this. So even with AR mods, like 140 is a bit much. It doesn't matter for the purposes of this video, just keep in mind you'll take fewer casualties, and more importantly, you'll gain more devotion, which is going to be very important for Kislev. So what we want to do with Katarin on turn 1, you fight that battle, you get campaign movement range with her blue skill line. That will give you enough movement range to take Vitevo. You take Vitevo, you build the barracks over here in Vitevo, and you start recruiting units for both Katarin. If you have Shadows of Change, I recommend getting a couple of Kislev warriors, otherwise just regular Kossars. Then, one of the other things we can use is the load save character system. What I recommend is starting a campaign in Realms of Chaos and leveling up a bunch of Ice Witch Lords with good traits. What traits are you after? Well, infantry focus is always going to be strong, growth is always going to be strong, missile strength, so we're just going to use Nicola over here, and we're going to get more Kislevite warriors for her as well. That said, we don't actually want her to be in the settlement. The reason is there's an army over here that might just decide to go after Nicola if I'm lucky enough. It may happen, it may not happen, it does depend. Research-wise, we want to get Troll Country Pathfinder as quickly as possible. We start with ice sculpting, so we're going to get cold storage. We also want to use the load save character system for Katarin as well, in order to get some Frost Maidens, both of them, because Katarin does start with extra capacity. You don't need any building for the Ice Maidens, though I would recommend not training these through Katarin, instead train them through Kastalten. It will take you time, but it is going to be very much worth it. If you train them through Katarin, they're going to be higher ranked, they're going to be more expensive. And on top of that, if you don't spend the skills before you save them, you will not have those extra skill points that their higher rank would indicate. So either way, that's turn 1. Just press the end turn button. Let's see what. Okay, so the Bjorslings did not move out to engage me over there. That's fine. I can work with that. So anyway, because like between the two armies I recruited, even without the Frost Maidens, Katarin is going to be capable of winning this particular battle. Though obviously, this is one of the reasons you want to fight these battles manually. The reduced casualties are going to count for quite a bit. But regardless, we should be able to take that particular settlement, exchange these, give the Kislevites warriors to Katarin, and we're just going to take this particular settlement, but I'm just also going to get the Frost Maidens over there in order to help that particular aspect forward. I'm also going to recruit another lord because I do want to get as many troops as possible over here. So I'm just going to recruit another Frost Maiden over here, and in this case just get myself a bunch of Kossars. You don't necessarily need more than, say, 4 units over there. So okay, we can see over here that they're very close to being willing to become federated, but not quite there. So take the settlement, take these 2 settlements, keep that recruitment going, get higher levels, get firing drills, and Root Marcher. Now, interesting thing is that you want to get Biting Wind, by the way, and Freezing Winds and all that kind of stuff. So Hailstorm, Biting Wind, and then eventually Freezing Winds for these Frost Maidens.
It is my duty.
Okay, so right here, we took some damage. This, yeah, again, why I'd recommend you do so. But regardless, get Vitevo, get all of their money, and try to see if you can trade these elements back and forth, back and forth. If you can, that's great. That's what you're aiming for. So it might be possible, it might not be possible. We will see. So over here, one of the things you can do over here, this is the cheese. You can just continuously trade these elements right here between one another. And right now we're at 175 diplomatic relations. You may want to take the loss at certain points. So let's see if we can. Yep, we can get more money. So just, again, continuously trade back and forth. We just want to get those diplomatic relations to a higher level in order to ensure that we are actually getting confederation with these guys. I'd say like 300 is probably enough, so just continuously do this. I'm even going to ignore the money over there, though. That is the cheese that is available in terms of like, oh, you want a bunch of campaign money, that is how you can do it. So anyway, right now, 333. Okay. I'm just going to save in case I miscalculated. If you want to guarantee it, you do this until you're at like 600 relations. But anyway, just saving that should be enough, I think. So let's see over here. Yep, there we go. We got Fort Ostrog. We got all our settlements back. We got the Tzarina Enclave sorted out. We will want to do a couple of things here before continuing onward. Although, we don't necessarily need to build anything right there. Okay, so with that sorted out, we can start doing the same thing on these guys. So we want to take Plesk. The reason we want to take Plesk, right, is because it will give us a bunch of options over there. So we get Plesk, then we trade a bunch of these elements for what we're really interested in Volsgrad. The reason we want Volsgrad, to explain that, like we just want to continuously do that kind of region trading as well. But the reason we want Volsgrad is we want to build up an army there as well. I might not be able to do it this particular turn with these guys, but yeah, just get a Tzarina. Did they lose their army? It doesn't seem like they did, but regardless, what we want is get Kitch. Right there. So I'm not going to recruit anything right now. So keep in mind, this is turn freaking 2 that I'm obviously doing this. So we just keep doing this until like we sell Vitevo, try and get Zavastro back. If that doesn't work, If that doesn't work. Okay. So actually, I'm just gonna sell Plesk back for them. Okay, Vitevo for Plesk. See if that works. It does. 72. So again, you need like 600 relations with them in order to pull this off, essentially. So Plesk. So Plesk. Okay, so 125. Just get those that trade agreement going. Let's see if we can get Voltgrad. Nope. Yeah. Just gonna sell. No, I don't want to sell Plesk. I do want to actually keep it because I'm gonna need it in order to be able to get Voltgrad back. But that won't particularly work in this case. Okay. So the purpose over here has been fulfilled. So we just wanted to recruit a lord over there. And we wanted to see what we could get. So we're at 217 diplomatic relations with these guys. Keep in mind, they are out of money at this particular point in time. Though I don't necessarily want to give them Fort Chakova. Okay, so that would cost me quite a bit of money and would undo all of the good work that I've done. Not necessarily interested. Let's see Vitevo, it's same damn thing. Okay, get Zavastra back. Try and get Fort Chakova back. That's not gonna work. Okay. Okie dokie. Not ideal in some ways, what I just did there, but it's fine. It's not ideal because obviously Katarin took some damage there, and she could have used some. And yeah, Prague still has some money, but it's not really relevant. Okay. So now, Katarin, Ice Witch.
Of ice magic.
She should have enough movement range to be able to take that settlement, move this one over here. Even if we lose a lot of troops here, this is one of the reasons I recommend you do fight these battles manually. But we should be able to take Igorov. Actually, the Frost Maidens and Katarin would be able to solo that freaking army. If you want a little bit of a trick, if you force march your army then transfer it to another army, you will be able to do exactly this. Okay, so we got that particular settlement. We now have this settlement as well in Yetkich. So just take Yetkich.
A worthy addition to my holdings.
Right there. Not a problem.
Do not even consider.
So we can see it like we're at 10 diplomatic relations. I wanted to wait an extra turn. So Zavastra for, say, Voltgrad maybe. Yep, now we'll do the trick. We do have Yetkich.
Come.
So Yetkich for Plesk potentially. Nope, they're not gonna be willing to give us that particular settlement. But regardless, just keep training this until you're at 600 relations over there. Right, so let's see if Igorov can be traded. Yes, it can be, and it would not be a bad trade. So Zavastra back for Igorov. Just keep doing this until you're at 600 relations. So, and get all of their money in return as well. So Zavastra, Yetkich. No, fuck. Screw Yetkich. Okay. Maybe Plesk. No. Yeah, so Volsgrad, get their money. All of their freaking money. 495. Vitevo. Or Igorov. And yeah, I do want a bit more money over here. Just in case. 535. Okay, 575. Okay.
For them.
So I'm going to have to wait another
Report,
turn, I
comrade.
think, in order to pull this off. So I'm just going to take Igorov
We
back. Just get that replenishment finally. Right there. Kislev City is still a tier 1 city. Not an issue. And just get some regular Kossars over here. We don't necessarily need to worry too much about that. For Katarin, you do want to get full-on firing drills. For these guys, yeah, get freezing winds once those become available. But I might have to wait an extra turn. I could possibly do it, but yeah, it would not.
Know well that I am accustomed to getting anything I want. We
It
are
would not necessarily work, because like they would not be willing to give us a military alliance just yet. So just wait an extra turn. Keep in mind they're out of money. They don't have anything available right now. Just get that sorted out. Get inspiring presence for this one. Okay, I'm not gonna build anything right now. Okay. So let's see what the Norskins do. If they don't take Plesk, that would probably be for the best for me.
The snow.
Now, there are other things we can do as well here. Oh boy, so many other things.
I speak for King.
history shall be written.
Okay, so we can see
by
that
our
we have
proud
that military
nation.
alliance available. But we're not quite at the stage where
They are two strong links in the chains
they'd
that
be willing to
shackle
join
disorder.
us in that particular fight. Yet. But just declare war on the Magofkin, and maybe that will do it. Yep, there we go. So
We are-
declaration of war, confederation's done, no penalties whatsoever for it. And this is how you gain a ridiculous level power available for Katarin. But we're not done. Oh no.
Frostweaver.
We are far, far from done over here. Get rid of this one. Get this element back to a good enough level. Recruit more units. Deal with the Norskins. What do you do after this stage? There are various choices available in your particular campaign. You can piss off Azag if you want to. But there's, again, various other choices available as well. One of the things that I like to do in this kind of context is like just really cheese the shit out of the game if I want to. So just get another Tzarina right next to Fort Jakova. This is where we get into the extreme cheese aspect of the game, if you want to take advantage of that particular aspect. So one of the things we can do is sell Volkskrot to them. They'll give us all of their money available. Like, mission is accomplished here, right? Get rid of that. We do need those. We do need some priests. Gonna get Zavastra to a higher level over here as quickly as possible. And the cheese is as follows. Those ogres, they're dead, right? But what we can do, this is the second part. The only reason you do this is for supporters, nothing else. So you don't necessarily need them right now, but if you just want to have an easy time with supporters, you sell some of these settlements. So I'm just going to sell Fort Jakova to these ogres. Then I'm going to sell Igorov to these ogres. Okay. And we're in a position where we could sell Fort Ostrak, but we don't want to. Okay, so that's about it. Would have been better had I obviously been able to move, had I moved Katarin closer to Vitevo here before that turn, but it doesn't matter. We can also pull this off with the Norskins, I might add. So what are we really looking to do here? Well, interesting tidbit about campaign situations. When, let's say, we declare war on the Rock Skulls, we get Azak to pay for it. But because I got both those armies in a nearby vicinity, we can take Fort Jakova back. Interesting, we keep the growth points. We take Igorov back. We get more growth points. Oh yes, gentlemen, we are playing full-on fricking Skaven over here. Get rid of the barracks.
I've been looking forward to
And
this.
then sell
Prepare
Plesk
to be ripped to shreds.
for these to these guys. Sell Volsgrad to these guys. Get all of their money. But the reason you're doing this is not because of the money. The money is kind of like a side benefit. The real power is coming from all the supporters we're gaining because we're getting those elements back.
Noble of the Oblast.
And also
Champion of the
we're
motherland.
getting growth, free growth. It is kind of stupid, but like just consider the fact that every settlement that I have here. Okay, so now we can take these elements back. But what is really going on over here, you might wonder? Well, the answer to that particular question is really down to the fact. Like, sometimes you do get extra growth with these kind of settlements, or if you already have a surplus point and you trade it like this, it can work out in your favor. And I don't have to worry about, like, oh, are these guys gonna show up, right? Get extra recruitment capacity, get some armor costers, we're gonna deal with some scaling. So now I'm at 40 supporters, already at the first tier of supporters. Remove this army, you don't need it. And if the Norse can actually take it, that's not really a downside. Just gonna say that. It is not really a downside. Actually, we can just go remove this army. But this is something you can do. Like, I could do it with Azak, but it might just be more beneficial to not do it right now with anyone. Well, maybe Ostermark if I'm really cheeky about it. But very important aspect here. Get the buyer over there. Katarin does have a tendency of getting an Ataman, sorry. Of getting an Ataman with a growth benefit. And now we're in a prime position where we can just, yeah, get the supporters, get a lot of growth, get these elements to a higher tier, all of that good stuff very, very early on. So I have almost 2 full stacks of troops, getting a third over here, and we're about to unleash hell and devastation, fire and fury, or I don't know how you'd call it, winter is coming for Trench. Significant level of power, getting those supporters. A side benefit of being able to get all these supporters early on, like, you can go even further. Like, I could have recruited a bunch of lords for every settlement I took over here in the Southern Oblast and have, like, a bunch of lords already, so I could have sold this entire freaking province to the ogres, gotten themselves, or maybe everything except the Igarav, maybe, gotten a bunch of growth points, gotten a lot of benefits, gotten a lot of money, gotten a lot of supporters. You can push this to extreme. You can do it with Talabaim, you can do it with Ostermark, you can do it with Asland as well. No one's really gonna care if you piss off.
I will listen, but my
if you piss off these guys, right? And because you're gaining diplomatic relations when you give them settlements for free, you're also, freaking hilariously enough, you're also going to be able to get a peace agreement very shortly thereafter. Like, now with these ogres, I didn't invest enough with that, but you know, there are obviously limits of how far I'm willing to take this. What happens is, when you trade the settlement and you're a particular race and you trade the settlement to another race, the settlements don't have a garrison for a turn. That's the reason I'm just able to occupy them in general. It won't work if it's the same race, just keep that in mind, because obviously the garrison will be transferred over. It won't work if you have, like, some mod, like the Warband Upgrade mod, for whatever reason, because that will actually keep the garrison that you have already there. Probably the cross-race at Warband Upgrade mod. But this is a huge level of power. Now, to the extent you want to do this, that's up to you. Personally, I think, like, just getting Volksgrad, getting Prague and Fortestrock very early on is a significant benefit. The supporters, the money, the growth, it's just like the cherry on the cake, really. Kosin signing out. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and enable notifications, and stay tuned for more.